It was a crisp Monday morning when 14-year-old Jasmine Porter walked into the prestigious Oaked Bank dressed in her school uniform, a simple blazer skirt, and loafers. Jasmine felt both nervous and proud. Today she would make her first solo bank deposit, handling the $5,000 scholarship check she had earned through her outstanding academic performance. The money was a testament to her hard work, but it also symbolized her independence. She was determined to handle this transaction on her own without her parents' help. Jasmine approached the counter with the check, her heart racing as she clutched her folder of documents. Behind the teller, the manager, Victoria Hayes, a woman in her late 40s with impeccable fashion and an air of superiority, noticed Jasmine's arrival. Her gaze immediately sharpened as Jasmine handed over the check. Victoria's professional smile faltered for just a moment. A $5,000 check. Victoria's voice rose slightly, enough for nearby customers to hear. For a student your age, where did this come from? Jasmine felt the heat rise in her cheeks, but she quickly regained her composure. It's my academic scholarship, she explained calmly, her hands trembling slightly as she handed over the award letter in her school ID. I have all the documentation right here. The teller, a young man named Tom, took the check from her, his expression shifting from neutral to suspicious. Suspicious, he held it up to the light, inspecting it like a detective searching for a clue. After a few long seconds, he turned to Victoria, who had been watching the interaction with growing skepticism. Victoria walked over to the counter, not even glancing at Jasmine. We've had a lot of fraudulent checks recently, she muttered, her tone dripping with disdain. I'll need to verify everything. Jasmine's anxiety spiked. She had been expecting a simple deposit, but now she was being treated as though were a criminal. She looked down at her bag, realizing in a rush of panic that her phone was still sitting in her locker at school. I need to call my mom, Jasmine said, her voice cracking slightly. She's expecting me home soon. I don't have a phone here. Victoria barely spared her a glance. That's not our problem, she snapped, her tone cold and dismissive. You'll wait until we finish our verification process. The words stung. Jasmine stood motionless as Victoria turned away, the condescension in her every step. The bank manager walked to a corner, her arms crossed in front of her expression smug as she observed Jasmine standing in the middle of the busy lobby. Jasmine's heart pounded in her chest as she was left standing in the corner, unable to move around her. The hustle and bustle of the bank continued, but she felt as if the entire room was watching her. Whispers began to circulate among the other customers, some glancing her way with open curiosity, others with barely concealed judgment. She stood there for what felt like an eternity as the minutes ticked by. The humiliation only deepened. Every second felt like an eternity, the marble floor beneath her feet growing colder with each passing minute. Despite the situation, Jasmine's mind remained sharp. She had always been observant, taking note of the way people interacted with one another, the subtle differences in treatment, the way some people were treated with deference while others were ignored or brushed aside. She had noticed it before, but today she was living it. She wanted to scream, to demand that they give her back her documents. But she remained silent. Her father had always taught her to remain composed in the face of adversity, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the way she was being treated had nothing to do with the legitimacy of her scholarship and everything to do with the way she looked. From across the room, Jasmine could hear Victoria speaking to Tom in a low, almost conspiratorial voice. I'm telling you, we need to maintain our standards here. Victoria said, we can't just let anyone walk in and expect to be treated like they belong. Jasmine's heart sank. The words stung like a slap across her face. She was being judged not for who she was, but for how she looked. Her hands clenched into fists, and she fought to keep her composure. She had worked hard for this scholarship. She had earned it. Fair and square, and now it felt like it was slipping away from her. She glanced at the clock on the wall. More time. Past the whispers continued. The only thing she could do now was wait. Jasmine Porter wasn't your average teenager. Despite living in Oak's most exclusive neighborhood, she had always valued simplicity over extravagance. Her family's home was elegant, but understated. No ostentatious displays of wealth, just tastefully decorated rooms and a strong sense of community. Jasmine's mother, Dr. Naomi Porter, was a renowned financial expert who ran one of the most respected firms in the country. As a woman who had built her career from the ground up, Naomi had instilled in Jasmine a strong sense of independence and a belief that true success came from effort, not privilege. The Porters' wealth was substantial, but it wasn't flaunted. Dr. Naomi Porter believed in the power of education and hard work. She often reminded Jasmine that wealth wasn't just about accumulating money, it was about using that wealth for good. Jasmine had absorbed these lessons well, excelling in her studies and winning a full scholarship to Webster Academy, a prestigious school known for its rigorous academics. This wasn't an achievement handed to her on a silver platter. Jasmine had worked tirelessly, earning her scholarship on merit, not on the strength of her mother's name. Her friends often marveled at her ability to balance academics, extracurriculars, and part-time work, but Jasmine didn't mind. She relished the challenge. It was her way of proving to herself and to the world that she could succeed on her own. Her mother had always been supportive of course, but she never allowed Jasmine to take shortcuts. I want you to have the same opportunities that others have.